r/ask Reddit. What is a basic etiquette everyone should know but not everyone follows? Let others off before you get on. Holy shit, some people don't get this one. I've seen people just itching to get on the bus, so I've intentionally started moving before the bus stops so that I can be at the doors when they open. And they stop. I'll learn it'll try to get on before I've managed to get off. I've intentionally started moving before the bus stops so that I can be at the doors when they open. He thought this was common etiquette, if you're able-bodied enough to do it. Otherwise you're making a bus full of people wait for you because you didn't anticipate the stop. It's also preferred to exit from the back if everyone boards at the front. Only place to pay the fare, and some buses even have signage saying so. That reduces this problem. Edit. I've only seen how it works in half a dozen cities and it sounds like other places have a lot of different systems. But so far it still seems true that if the bus has multiple doors and you can only enter through the front one, then it's good etiquette to leave through the back when possible. Be the duck, aware of your surroundings when walking in crowded areas. Don't just ducking stop in the middle of the hallway and start rolling your cigs. Look left and right when changing lanes, and if you're a slow walker, keep to the side of the hall. Edit. Nice. Silver. Now I'm gonna buy me an air horn and scare them loiterers away. Edit 2. Double nice. Gold. Guess I'm upgrading to a train horn. If you're in a group, don't take up the entire sidewalk. Seriously. For Christ's sake, there is no good reason you have to walk in a horizontal line of 6 people. Listen to the content of what other people are saying before replying. To expand on this, listen to understand what someone is saying, not just to respond to it. Listen so you hear when they make a short break so you can jump in and completely change the subject. This is my favorite thing to see people do. A real tray. Headphones aren't optional in a public space. No one wants to hear your music or your video clips playing. Also, kids can use headphones too. Don't make us listen to your kids' videos full blast when out in public, okay? It's so annoying to sit on the plane and listen to all the boom and bang noises of some kid's iPad game. Chew with your ducking mouth closed unless you have some kind of issue where you cannot physically do so. Lip smack, lip smack, lip smack. I still have the nightmares. You too? I had a cube mate that would always do this, and he ate at his desk all day, and he ducking swished his coke around in his mouth before swallowing. It was ducking maddening. I would wear sound cancelling headphones with nothing playing just so I couldn't hear him. Pick up your dog's poop, even when it's snowing. People seem to think it's okay not to when it's snowing because it will be covered up. Once that thaw comes around, it's a chow. A snow. The asterisk is a snowflake. Don't park your ducking vehicle in front of driveways or garages. In my current job this is a daily problem. I assumed most people would know that it's not cool, but I clearly overestimated the intellect of humanity on that one. Dongs. This has only happened to me once and I decided to let it slide. They were trimming a tree that my neighbor and I shared, so the truck was kinda blocking my driveway. Decided just to hang out in my house for a little bit longer instead of leaving then. But if this happened more often I would be salty. Sure, extenuating circumstances apply here. I'm curious, though. Did you feel as though you couldn't approach the neighbor and say, "Hey bud, I need to get out," in a friendly way? Or was it just not that pressing? I have no problems asking people to move so I can get out, or even ask them to pull up a foot or two so I can park. I'm not a dong about it, but I've learned to just ask in a non-confrontational sort of way. There is no person that everyone likes. It's okay to admit when you were wrong. You don't always have to have an opinion on everything. Saying "I don't know" is fine. Forgiving people goes a long way. My 7-year-old son said to me yesterday after I admitted I made a mistake, "It's okay daddy. Mistakes just make your brain grow from learning from them." Edit. So yeah, that actually did happen because he gets real down on himself and something like having trouble tying his shoes makes him cry. So I have told him stuff like accidents happen. It's okay to lose every now and then. And it's okay to admit when you are wrong. The kid's got it figured out already, haha. Don't touch people unless they say it's okay. Don't touch people's pets unless they say it's okay. And don't complain if you do it anyway and get bit by a nervous animal. Add on. This rule does not go away just because someone is pregnant. Add on to this add-on. This rule is especially important to keep in mind when someone is pregnant. Whatever forces are at work compelling people to reach out and touch pregnant women, fight it. Don't act like you didn't know where the line started and try to wedge your piece of shit self in front of me, a-hole. I'll never forget this one time that happened. It has happened to me many times, but this one instance, the instant karma was so gratifying. I was waiting in line at the Publix deli, so most people know you have to take a number and they call out your number to serve you. But when there is a lot of people, we all kinda bunch together and it looks like a line. Well, this mother and her 12-year-old daughter come in and you see the mother look around. I'm standing in this line of people looking at my phone waiting for my number to be called. I see this mother sneak in front of me, and I knew she was attempting to cut in front of me just based on her body language and facial expressions. I don't know how else to explain it. So she takes her place in the line, and after the next person finishes, it would have been my turn. She walks right up to the deli and the woman asks if she is number such and such. Highly embarrassed and feigning complete ignorance, she looks at me and motions for where the numbers are. I point to it and with the biggest smile walk up to the deli and give them the number. Best day ever. Best part is, she was now at the end of the line because several other people had grabbed numbers while she was trying to blend in after cutting in front of me. Karma can be so great. I had a car cut in front of about a 15-car queue at Chick-fil-A the other day in about 30 degrees F weather. He cut in around some cones that were to separate parking traffic from drive-through traffic. But after he opened his window, it got stuck halfway up, halfway down, and I got to watch them struggle to yank it up or push it down to no prevail during the rest of their wait. It was still stuck when they drove out onto the main road, which was 55 miles per hour, and I imagine freezing their ear off served them right. When walking with several friends on a sidewalk, pair up 2 by 2 instead of everyone walking in a row so others can pass you on the sidewalk. I work on a university campus and college kids seem particularly oblivious to this. Or even if you do want to walk all in a row, if someone else is coming at you from the other direction, it's obviously your responsibility as the group blocking the whole width to break rank for a few seconds and let the other person by. People will play Red Rover with you if you don't. I dunno, man. I tend to walk fast and it's just as annoying to come up behind people doing this and trying to make your way around them. Just don't walk more than 2 people wide. Period. Also, when someone is showing you a picture on their phone, you should not swipe left or right, or just don't touch anything, especially messages and photos, videos, on anyone's phone without their consent. And for the love of Christ, if you are a student, or actually whatever, really, don't just go on someone else's laptop, computer / whatever without their permission. Duck right off. That was the day I learned to use a password. It's not about what may or may not be there. It's about the principle. My shit is my shit. Yo, leave it be. I reserve the right to change my friends' laptop backgrounds to Carl Weathers posing as Apollo Creed. Don't play music or video out loud on your phone, iPad, whatever in public. Also, public includes parks, rivers, hiking trails, and other normally electronic free outdoor experiences. I did not drive 2 hours and pay nearly $100 for a canoe trip to listen to your shitty boombox when we got dropped off together. A huge pet peeve of mine is people who can't keep their mouth shut that just have to constantly hear the sound of their voice. The other day in the sauna at my gym, there was this guy doing that. He randomly asks another guy what he thought of Bernie Sanders running for president. They went back and forth for like 30 seconds, but the other guy clearly wasn't interested and it tapered off. Not even a minute later. Bro, he nudges me. You ever watch Shameless? No. Doing the least possible to engage him here. Asks another guy the same question 2 minutes later. Shut the duck up. People, small talk is fine. I'm not some antisocial a-hole, but you can learn to enjoy silence and not needing to have a conversation with every stranger you see. Especially in a situation like this, you're essentially holding people captive and forcing them to listen to your bullshit. Granddad used to say he was vaccinated with a phonograph needle. My granddad used to say he could talk to a stump. If you're mad at a company for some transgression, don't take your rage out on the customer service rep. Chances are, this person has people freaking out at them all day for things they have no control over. Be kind to customer service people. They are likely having a crappy day. Edit. Gold. Thanks, pal. I suspect you've suffered at the hands of unhappy customers, as have I. Hang in there. More specifically, most of them will generally go out of their way to assist if you are kind. Express your problems without making them the focus of your anger, and directly ask them if they can help you out of a tough spot. Doesn't work 100% of the time, but I'd guess better than 75% of the time. Keep ducking left. Roads, escalators, footpaths, shop aisles. Keep left is Australian. Apply to your country. Yes, in the US it's keep right. Especially on the interstate when you have traffic backed up for miles because you refuse to pass the semi. But for some reason, so many stores, Walmart is one, where there is an enter and exit door. Have the enter door on the left when you're going in, and the exit on the left when you're leaving. It's unnatural. Damn it. Don't piss all over the toilet seats of public bathrooms. Women, stop hovering. You're just spraying all over the seat and making it worse for everyone. It triggers a vicious circle, where everybody will hover because the first person sprayed some drops all over, ending with a disgusting seat making you wish to go and pee in the park behind a bush. Let people get off the ducking elevator first. Stand to the right on the escalator. Don't block doors on the metro subway, no matter how crowded it is. Don't stand in the middle of a sidewalk staring at your phone. Don't stand on opposite sides of a hallway having a long conversation. So many rules about standing walking that people just don't seem to understand. It's rude to duck around on your smartphone when someone is trying to have a conversation with you. It's also rude to force someone to engage in conversation when they're trying to quietly duck around on their phone. See also, reading a book. If I'm sitting quietly out of the way with my nose in a book, I don't mind you asking what I'm reading, but Christ, the amount of people who interpret it as I'm free to talk about whatever you want is infuriating. Littering. Everyone knows it's wrong and not in their long-term interest, but people do it anyway because of lack of bins, laziness, etc. I will never understand how throwing something out your car window is easier than leaving it in your car until you reach your destination. I can only imagine that people who do that are like duck you, tree huggers, as they toss their entire McDonald's meal trash out the window. Where I live it's mostly beer cans that get thrown out, so that at least has some kind of logic to it, because you wouldn't want to get caught with several empty beer cans in your car, so better throw them out as soon as you finish shotgunning that beer while driving. Do not give out someone else's number without their permission. Don't give out any info about someone else without their permission. I'm very good at this. Real easy when you don't know anyone. Washing your hands after using the bathroom or cooking, especially if you're cooking raw meat. Edit. A term I've heard people use for anti-vaxxers is pro-diseasers, and I think that applies to people who don't wash their hands too. Don't change the conversation just to suit yourself. Don't text while driving. Even if you are waiting at a junction and the light is red, just put your phone away. You should be alert on the road at all times. I work in healthcare. The amount of nurses who still don't wash their hands after working with patients is still really high. Hand washing is literally the best way to combat spreading preventative diseases to immunocompromised patients. The number of people in an office setting who don't wash their hands in the bathroom is astounding. You see these people every day, even if you want to be gross. How do you not realize that's not a good look? Definitely have a do not shake hands list. You walk in the halls the same way you drive in your car. Stay on your side of the hallway, dipping only to go around people. If someone is stopped in the way, and you can't go around, speak, like honking. Don't push, bumping their vehicle. Wave in passing. Don't stop in the middle of the route to have extended discussions. Wash your damn hands after using the bathroom. Do not send unsolicited nude photos. What if I say, hey girl, look at this dong, and then I send a pic of Dong Cheney? Do not threaten me with a good time. Stand up to shake someone's hand if you're sitting down. If you're in customer service and you don't know the answer to a question, it's okay to tell the customer you don't know the answer. The mistake is when you say you don't know, then leave it at that, instead of saying I don't know, but I will find out for you, or I don't know, but I will refer you to X person who will. It's better to tell them you don't know and point them in the right direction than to tell them wrong information and have them call back and have your colleagues deal with an angry customer. Do not propose to your partner when you're in a wedding. OMG, reading all these comments and knowing that there are people who disregard these is so stressful, haha. Or make big announcements. We can all congratulate your pregnancy at another time and place. Seriously, there are people that need to be told this. I think the rule should be if someone tries to propose at your wedding, you should get to punch them. Also, if someone tried to propose to me at a wedding, not only would I likely say no, but I would likely end the relationship. Someone may try to say, oh, the euphoria of the day moment, but you can wait until you get home instead of interrupting someone else's moment. I mean, I'm a guy, so not likely to be the one proposed to, but that's a dirty play to me. If you can't explain your opponent's side in a way that they'd agree with, due to either lack of knowledge or due to your emotional connection to your own side, then you don't know enough to be arguing them, or you're too emotionally biased to see the argument clearly. Or some people just have shitty views. There's no nice and acceptable reason to believe in gay conversion therapy. For instance, unless you say he just doesn't want his son to be gay because he doesn't want him to burn in hell forever. See, he cares. Small but significant difference though. OP isn't saying describe in a way that's agreeable, but describe in a way your opponent would agree with. Presumably you could summarize Nazism to a Nazi in such a way as to have them say, yep, that sounds like what I believe. Obviously, Nazism itself is terrible, but you've described it in a way a Nazi would agree with. Once you do that, that's the version of the opponent's argument you argue against. Use the turn signal when appropriate. And don't use it if you're not turning. Ducking lady yesterday was coming up to an intersection where I was pulling up in preparation for a left turn. With my signal on like a good boy, she's signaling a left turn. So I can make my turn right? No, because she went straight. Luckily, I'm cautious about turn signals, so I hadn't exactly committed to the turn when she came through. I generally don't trust turn signals because that wasn't the first time I've been fooled. You have to look for more intent than a blinking light to be sure someone is turning. Cover your ducking mouth when you sneeze. Don't sneeze into your hands and then touch stuff. Push your chair in when you stand up. When you come to a door that is both an exit and an entrance, you should let people exit first before you enter. Examples: an elevator, a bus or train. When staying as a guest with friends, family, pick up after yourself, help clean the dishes, offer to buy them a meal or some beer to say thank you. Pick up your dog's shit. Never ask, when are you going to have kids? When are you going to have another? Never, never ever. If you're asking, you don't know the pain of infertility. You don't know the pain of miscarriage. Just don't ducking ask. Or why aren't you married? It's none of your damn business. When in Rome, do as the Romans. Pay attention to how the people around you react, and go from there. If people around you need personal space, give space. If people around you need you to slow your pace, slow your pace. If you're in a whole group where people are generally louder with each other than you're used to being, try joining them at this new volume. I completely don't hate to be that guy, but when in Rome, do as the Romans do. You can kill me now. Great advice. BTW. When in Rome, do the Romans. When you apologize, be genuine and make the person you are apologizing to feel that you are truly sorry. No I'm sorry you felt or I'm sorry but statements either. Those are the worst and you don't seem sincere at all. Simply saying please and thank you, and meaning it seems to have gone away recently. Grave etiquette. When walking among graves in a cemetery, it is impolite to walk or to stand directly upon a grave. The proper etiquette is to walk alongside headstones and to stand off to the side of a buried person. This reminds me of a time when I was little and my mom was still working for Find a Grave, taking pictures of headstones and uploading them to the website. My brother and I would tag along as extra pairs of eyes to help her find names faster. We learned a lot about respecting the dead that way. I'd stand tipped over flowers offerings back up and even straighten out loose headstones if I could. The whole reason I got really conscious about minding graves is that on my first outing I stepped directly onto a coffin without realizing it. It was decorated with seashells and for some reason I didn't really register that a sudden rise was a decorated grave and my mom had to tell me that I was standing on one. I rectified this by stepping off and apologizing directly to whoever was inside. I even looked down and put my hands up while I backed away. Oh, sorry, I got laughed at for that. LOL. Before venting to someone, make sure to ask them if it's okay. Sometimes it can be emotionally exhausting to hear someone's problems constantly. It's also good to let people know you just want to vent and don't need advice sometimes. Call before you come. Don't just pop over, out the blue. Wave a thank you if somebody lets you merge into traffic, etc. The every other urinal. On an airplane with 3 seats in a row, there are 2 amenities to each seat. Window gets a window and an armrest. Middle gets 2 armrests. Aisle gets an armrest and a little extra leg. We're not animals. We live in a society. Paraphrased from Jim Jeffries. I think about unyieldingly claiming my 2 armrests every time I have a middle seat, which is every ducking time. Personal space 2. Personal space 3. Stay out of my personal space 4. Keep away from my personal space 5. Get out of that personal space 6. Stay away from my personal space 7. Keep away from that personal space 8. Personal space 9. Personal space. Middle seat passenger on the plane gets both armrests. You animals. Brush your teeth before a date. Brush your teeth before a date. Let those who were at the bus stop board the bus before you. If you are paying attention to your surroundings, this should not be an issue. If someone reacts to something in a way that surprises you, don't make fun of them about it. You don't know their life story. E.g. I panic if people snap their fingers around me, so every now and then there's an arsehole who'll go out of their way to do it if I say it makes me really panicky. I shouldn't have to unload about PTSD and child violence for you to not be an asshole. If you're spending the night as a guest in someone's house, make the dang bed. You can have the last piece of pizza, or the last beer, not both. Treat others as you would like to be treated. So blow everyone? If you're walking in front of someone's car for some reason, have a little pep in your step, mother ducker. You don't need to understand someone to respect their wishes or believe they mean what they say they feel. In other words, you don't have to be transgender to use someone's preferred pronoun. You don't have to understand why something you consider trivial someone else finds bullying or harassment before you stop doing it. You don't need to get why someone's relationship works to respect it. You don't need to understand why someone believes or doesn't believe in a certain religion to support their rights. Your understanding is not a prerequisite to seeing others as people as opposed to symbols of otherness. Always treat a gun as if it is loaded. Don't cut in line. Don't give unsolicited advice. If you feel it's appropriate, ask, "Can I offer some advice?" and respect their answer. Sometimes people complain to let off steam, and just throwing advice at them comes off very unsympathetic. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.